If you've been wanting to feel more confident in your graphic design skills using Canva, especially if you're a beginner, today's video is for you. I'm going to walk you through some simple things that can help make sure that your designs look good and not bad. Hey, I'm Kayla from Ivory Mix, and I'm here to help you grow your audience and impact and income online with better content and even better strategies. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to get my latest uploads every week. The first design mistake that I often see are bad line spacing or bad letter spacing. And so let's take a look at a couple of examples I have here with these two templates. So you've got this one and you've got this one. Now these use the same fonts and the same colors, which is great. However, the spacing between the lines of these sentences or these lines and the spacing between these letters is not the same between this design and this design. And so if you were going to post these designs next to each other on Instagram or on your blog or website, something would stand out about them. Even if they're the same fonts, same colors, and same branding, something is a little off. And what that is the spacing between the letters and the lines. And so we got to keep it consistent between the different designs that you're creating so that you can create consistency within the brand. And that consistency is even more than just the colors or the fonts. So on Canva, what you can do is you can, with each letter or each line, you can come up to this button right here on spacing, and you can change the letter spacing and the line spacing. And you can click on this format tool, and you can format all of your fonts the same way. Now this made the font or the lines very large, so all we need to do then is just change the font size to something a little smaller. But the spacing of the letters and the lines will remain the same despite the size of the font being slightly smaller. Now when you look at the two designs next to each other, they are more consistent and design-wise just look better together. The second most common mistake that I see happening on designs and templates is misaligned text elements or bullet points. Now Canva has some pretty neat built-in features to help you create more balanced designs, and one of those happens to be the ability to align your text and elements. So here I have this template or this graphic that I've pulled up, and you can see that these items on this list are not evenly lined up with each other. So what you can do is you can select each of these lines and come over here. We can go to position right here at the top and click on these align elements and line all of the elements that are selected to the left. So you can see that by doing that, we've now taken all of these lines and we've aligned them all to the left, so it looks clean, well balanced, and just a better design in general. So that's one of the most common things that can be fixed with a simple click. Just come up here to position, and there's lots of different ways to either space out your elements evenly or align them so that they're more balanced. There's lots of options here for you, but in that particular instance, aligning everything to the left was the best. The third common mistake that I see in graphic design or designs on Canva is bad or poor font choices. So when it comes to your brand, you've probably got some fonts that you've decided work really well for your brand, and so you're using those fonts probably on all of your graphics or all of your website and everywhere that your audience interacts with you. However, in certain instances, we want to be careful not to use certain fonts when we're trying to portray certain emotions or feelings. For instance, I've pulled up some Canva templates in their template library, and I'm going to go ahead and add this template to the canvas, and it says, "Let yourself bloom like a flower." So utilizing this flowy handwritten font to sort of go with this floral concept. Now, if your brand was using something other than this font, it might not portray the right message. So we have to be careful to utilize our fonts where it makes sense and when the message matches our font. Now, in this case, this inspirational quote is a little more delicate, and so using something a little more masculine to portray this message probably wouldn't work. So this font, for instance, is a glitchy font. It's probably a little better used for a tech company of some kind, but not necessarily this message. So we want to be careful that our fonts match the message, and that in instances where another font might be better suited for the message, we might want to consider that. I'm not saying change your fonts every time you have a different message. However, do take into consideration the message is being portrayed properly through the fonts that you are using. One of the biggest, most common mistakes I see content creators make is creating content that they like versus the content they know their audience likes. This is a huge mistake because you're leaving a lot on the table, meaning you could be reaching more people if you just created more content like the content that your audience likes versus trying to continually create content that you like. Because let's be honest, your content isn't for you. If you're a small business owner, your content is for your audience. And so the way that I approach this is I go to my Instagram account and I look through my posts and I look at what gets the most reach, what gets the most comments, and what gets the most saves and shares. And I know that that content is what is really keeping my audience excited and what they're really enjoying. The things that they don't like, share, or comment on oftentimes are things that I thought was going to be funny or I thought was great content. But if your audience isn't responding as well to that content, then you should stop creating it. The fifth most common mistake that I see made on designs is there are too many elements. In a lot of cases, less is more. So if you've been playing with templates and adding in illustrations and animations, it might be time to just take a look and take a second at your design and see if you could take a few things away. This is one of the most common mistakes. And so I'm going to give you a little example. Here I have this template that shows, practical ways that you can reduce your stress levels. And with a simple removal of a few extra design elements, we've sort of brought the focus back to what the content is about and streamline the design so that it's less cluttered and more focused. It's easier to read and it's actually more pleasurable to read. So in this case, less is more. All right, so last but not least, the seventh most common thing that I see done incorrectly in designs on Canva is using the incorrect hierarchy. Basically, what that means is using the incorrect focal point. And so this is actually a very in-depth topic, but it comes with a very basic sentiment. And the sentiment is draw attention to the thing you want people to see first. So I'm going to show you a couple of different designs, and I'm going to ask you, when you look at the design, what is the thing that you looked at first? So number one design is this. What is the first thing that you read? And then the second design is this. What is the first thing that you looked at? When you compare the two, I am certain that on this first design, your eyes were drawn to the word working from home first. And on the second design, your eyes were drawn to the drawing of the man or woman behind the computer. And there's a reason for that. The reason is because of the color and the contrast between the darker color and the lighter color, and also because of where the first thing you looked at was located on the design. So it has to do with color and contrast, as well as positioning within the design itself. So when you're wanting to draw attention to specific words first, you want to make sure that you're designing around that focal point. So the best way that I could describe this is in this fashion. So you're going to read this first sentence first, then this one, and then this one. And this has to do with not only the position of the text, but also the color of the text and the size of the text, or the size of the element. So make sure that when you're doing designs that you're paying attention to what the hierarchy is of the items you're putting in your design and what you want people to focus on first. And so if an image or an illustration is not what you want people to focus on first, then you'll definitely want to flip that design and flip that focus. That's part of the reason why on Pinterest, I often create Pinterest pins with the text at the top and the image or illustration at the bottom, because I often want the attention to go to the text first and then the image as a supporting act to the text. So now that you know more, I have one last tip for you, and that is you can get your hands on free Canva templates and exclusive stock photos, plus more strategies exclusive to the Ivory Mix community, and it's completely free. There's up to 500 resources there for you, and you can get a link to it below this video. If you like this video, let me know by giving me a like and sharing it with your fellow content creators, and let me know what your favorite part was. If you do share it to Instagram stories, be sure to tag me so that I see it, because I may just feature you in my Instagram stories as well.